So today's the day, 5:15 on Wednesday, 14th of May, my nephew's birthday. The Welsh 3000 is actually getting done today. It's a perfect weather forecast. Ali's just dropped me off at Penny Pass and I've got a 600-metre climb up to the top of Crib Goch before I even start. Wish me well. This is where we're going. Look at that weather. Just come over the first summit on my way up to Crib Goch, and you can see why they call it the Red Ridge. That's where the challenge actually starts. I've still got another 400 metres of scrambling up that left-hand edge before the challenge actually starts and the timer starts on the top. Beautiful morning for doing it. This is for you, Tom and Esther. Just met the first scrambly section going up Crib Goch. Mountain goat mode deployed. Made it to the top of Crib Goch. It's a beautiful morning for doing this challenge. I'm a mixture of nerves, excitement, emotions. We've raised so much money to do this challenge. People have donated over £3,100, and even the fellow on the car park as I dropped off this morning, nice fellow called Dave, offered me 20 quid. So people's generosity knows no bounds. I said before, this challenge means so much to me because we could potentially change people's lives or help people who are affected by the disease. So thank you to everybody who's contributed. Behind me, the challenge lay ahead. That's Crib Goch Ridge. I may try and video a bit, but it's quite sketch. Then we've got Carneddau Chain and then Snowdonia. So see you in a bit. Bye everybody, wish me luck. This is the famous ridge called Crib Goch. It's an interesting part of the journey and probably the most challenging technical part of what I've got to do today on my Welsh 3000s challenge. You can move along at a fairly good pace, but you wouldn't want to miss your footing because it's certainly a very long way down on either side. So I'm going to stop filming now and get on with the business at hand, which is finishing this challenge in less than 12 hours. Beautiful morning for it. Chilly wind, but hey, that's not too bad. Keep me cool. Bye everybody. Now we're motoring on the gap between Crib Goch and Glyderau Chain. Morning sheep, how are you? Nice bit behind me. That's a pretty sketchy bit. Happy to have got that out of the way. Now I can get the hammer down, get some pace on. I'm in for the sun. Survived the first part of the ridge, going okay so far. Amazing views all around me. I cannot believe how lucky I am to be doing this on a day like this. Makes me feel great to be alive and part of this amazing sunrise in the mountains. Really is a special time of day. Just had to take a moment to appreciate this. What a phenomenal day for doing this challenge. Somebody upstairs is really smiling. Peak 2, Carneddau Chain, and behind me in the distance, Snowdonia peak number 3. Onwards and upwards. Summit of Mount Snowdonia, 705, highest mountain of the whole expedition. Amazing scenery all around me. Behind me over there, Crib Goch, the ridge I've just traversed along. And next, off into the distance there, drop off the side, and then over to the mountains you can see in the far distance, the Glyderau. Wish me luck. Good news and bad news. Good news is we've finished the first 3 major mountains, and looking across behind my shoulders you can see a Glyderau, Eryri and the rest of the Glyderau, which is where I'm heading in a minute, looking gorgeous. Bad news, before I get to that mountain range I've got to drop down this steep grassy gully behind me all the way down to the road, 700 metres down to climb another 900 metres back up. This is the bit I've not been looking forward to. Oh well. The video probably can't appreciate just how sketchy this descent is, but it is super sketch and it's a long way down if I slip. Luckily, thanks to the very dry spring we've had, the conditions are bone dry. Otherwise, I think I'd be slipping down most of this on my arse. Thank goodness for dry springs. great spot during the sketchy descent to scope out the next part of the route. Over here, Glyderau, my first peak, Eryri, and then over in the distance there, the Glyders, and behind them is Tryfan. Perfect day, hope I don't boil alive. Really pleased to see you two. Aid station number 1, top mountain in Brian, and top sport valley of the Wye. Just had an amazing pit stop. Ali and Brian had everything ready for me. Shoes, clothes, water resupply, mini Battenberg, bananas, segments of orange peeled with the pips taken out. A pit stop doesn't get much better than that. But the best thing of all is that now I'm on to more of a trek. I've swapped to my trainers. My new Ultra Olympus 6. Those are awesome trainers. They're going to make this trek up to Glyderau much easier. Going to turn hard right in a minute, past those heaps of rock, and should hit the top in about 40 minutes of up. 900 meters or so. One of the biggest climbs of the whole attempt. Whoa. And the sun is cooking. 9:30, summit number 4, Glyderau. That was a pretty brutal 800 meter climb straight up from the road down below me. But on the plus point, look at that. That's the rest of my route out there. Eryri, Glyderau, and in the very distance, Tryfan. That's the 5th along the Glyder range. So really excited to get up there and then get down for my next pit stop. The pit stop supplied by Brian and Ali was absolutely awesome. I'm just going to tell you. Flat grassy stuff. We are motoring. Wow, look at that reservoir. Seriously, the views here are awesome. Oops, sketchy bit. Best concentrate again. Back into focus mode. Making the most of the chance to run this nice grassy path before I start the slog up to Eryri on the left. I thought of pausing to have a look back at where we've been. Look at that, it's the Snowdonia range and Crib Goch. What a perfect day for this challenge. Peak number 5, Eryri. Really easy route up, no problems at all, very straightforward. Looking down towards Eryri, and down there's been my next aid station. But before that I've got to do Tryfan on the left of the screen, and now panning around to the Glyders. Got to do those first as well, so a little bit of time before I get to my next aid station. Looking forward to it already. So the run down from Eryri has been fairly pleasant. It's grass and track and trail, but I'm looking ahead where you can see that lake, and I'm looking at the track up to Glyderau and Glyderau. That's a brutal scree slog, so that's really going to tax me going up that and across to the top. Here we go. As predicted, the scree slope up to peak number 6, Glyderau, is in fact just a scree slog. Nightmare, but as chance would have it, on the playlist I'm listening to, my Welsh 3000s playlist, The Shaman and Move Any Mountain is playing. Now that's motivation at just the right time. Trainers are doing really well. On top of the very cool Glyderau, 1001 metres up in the air. I've currently covered 21 kilometres, about 2,500 metres of hiking. Over in the distance, you see Crib Goch where I started, there, the Snowdonia range, and then we drop down. I'll come along from Eryri there. This place is proper rocky. I'd forgotten how cool it was here. Next destination, Glyderau, over there somewhere, and castles in the wind, or maybe it's the Cantilever Rock, then Tryfan. The route between peak number 6 and peak number 7, so Glyderau to Glyderau, is reasonably chaotic. Lots of big rocks and ruts, so it's a bit hard to make any serious progress, but it's certainly blooming dramatic. Standing midway between Glyderau and Glyderau is this amazing structure, castles in the wind. Next stop, Glyderau, up there somewhere, more rocky death scrambling. Not easy going across that terrain, but I'm doing my best to stay upright and not bend an ankle. The route up onto Glyderau is interesting. Lots of huge slabby stones to negotiate. but it's bone dry, making it relatively easy, apart from the big jump shafted every now and then to get across the gaps. But it's up there somewhere. That's Glyderau in the bag. Number 7. Next stop, Cantilever Rock down there, and then across to Tryfan, and after Tryfan down to my 8th stop at the reservoir. Looking forward to seeing the guys. Everybody's favourite bit, the scree path of doom that goes straight down, but I need to get down it to get to Bulk Tryfan, and then from Bulk Tryfan I'll climb up to Tryfan and then back down again to head back to the road. Here we go. Not nice, but necessary. Slow and steady is the aim of the game. Scrambly section up Tryfan. It's quite warm now, it's midday, the top's just up there. I'm having to take very small steps because whenever I take a big, exaggerated step, I'm getting a bit of a cramp on me inner thighs, and I've got to guard against that. So luckily this is the last sort of scrambly bit where I'm going to have to make big climbs, so fingers crossed to make it up. Tryfan summit and the famous Adam and Eve behind me. This is peak number 8 of the Welsh 3000s. Just another 7 to go over in that direction there. Aid station is at the bottom of the valley. Then we're up Penrhyn and onto the Carneddau. Job done. My support crew supporting this race told me not to do this. They said be sensible, but what challenge is there if you don't test yourself every now and then? So here we go, Adam to Eve. And back again because it's easier to get down that side. Thank you very much. I've come off of Tryfan now, down to Bulk Tryfan, and now I'm on a reasonable path out on the eastern edge of Tryfan, the mountain. Should take me straight down to the A5 where my support station is, support station number 2. Can't wait to see him. Cramps in my legs, starving hungry, really need some salt. Not the easiest path to make ground on, but it's okay, we're tickling along. Approaching 2 o'clock in the afternoon, very, very hot. I've just finished my second pit stop at the A5 Ogwen Valley. I'm now doing my second biggest climb of the whole event, climbing up to Penrhyn, about 700 metres vertical in baking sun. I've got long legs on and long arms just to protect me from the sun, but boy oh boy, paying for it heat wise. There's the top. I'm up against it. About 4.5 hours to try and finish this challenge for my cut-off time, or my target time. So I have to wind the videos back a bit so I can focus on the job at hand. So that's the summit of Penrhyn, peak number 9. Some fun facts: I've covered 26 miles, climbed over 2,500, nearly 3,000 metres. In fact, I think it was 3,200 metres. I'll have to stop videoing soon because I'm running out of time for my target. But this is the first of the 7 peaks on the Carneddau ridge. It's going to be a long, steady trudge along the ridge with slight rise and fall, so less videos, more running. I was supposed to stop filming, but the scenery is just too dramatic, so just about to drop down towards that bulk of stones on your right, then climb up to Carneddau. He's a whopper. That's peak number 11, and then out to Eryri, that little spur out there. That's peak number 12, and then I've got to come back along the ridge and get on to 13, 14, 15. Time's looking good, that's why I'm happy to get the camera out. Welsh 3000s is coming home. Had a tactical revelation. Rather than climb all the way up Llewellyn and then drop down to Eryri out here on the spur, I've decided to follow a little kind of track, sheep track, cross country, that's cutting off the corner. So I go straight to Eryri first out there on the spur, and then only have to go back up and climb Llewellyn once, which is desirable. The only downside It's very much mountain goat territory. You've got to have your mountain goat or mountain sheep legs on. Not far, I'll be back on the main track, but definitely a good corner cut if you're ever considering this route. On top of Eryri, peak number 11 at 3:45. That's the ridge I've got to take back to get to Llewellyn, which is now peak number 12, and that's quite a big climb. Then we're off over there to 13, 14, 15. Got to get a rattle on. I've only got 2.5 hours left to finish. Fun fact, I've done about 5.5, 6 litres of water, 8 energy gels. I've eaten tons of bars and snacks, but I'm still starving hungry. But not stopping for food now. I've got to get the eye of the tiger on and get to the end. Videoing while running, sorry. Ahead, that pile of stones is peak number 14, and to the right is the final peak. I'm on for 11 hours if I can get to that peak in 45 minutes. Oh, here we go. And there we are. The journey is over. Just behind me, that trick point, full of RAS. Peak number 15 is Well 3000s. It's taken me 10 hours and 37 minutes to do it. Could not have done it without the support crew feeding me and topping me up in the bottom of the valleys like the Llanberis Pass and the A5. Massive difference to have like food supplies waiting for you. Ali and Brian, you are legends for doing that. Thank you very much. Covered 27 miles so far, roughly 3,900 meters of height gain, and my legs are really feeling it. The best thing is I've still got 7 kilometers to walk out on top of what I've already done. Water consumption roughly 6 liters, gels 8, and my tummy is all over the place. Can't wait for a big pub dinner. Bye.